Hello friends, hope you all doing well. So today here in this video we'll discuss about the CSF. CSF. So full form of CSF is cerebrospinal fluid, and the cerebrospinal fluid. It's a cerebrospinal fluid is a clean, odorless, and colorless fluid which fills the subarachnoid space and surrounds the brain and spinal cord. It fills the subarachnoid fill subarachnoid space. It fills the subarachnoid space and surrounds the brain and spinal cord. Surrounds the brain and spinal cord. So cerebrospinal fluid is a full form of cerebrospinal fluid, and CSF is cerebrospinal fluid, and it's a clean, colorless, and odorless fluid which fills the subarachnoid space and this surrounds the brain and spinal cord. So composition. Now let's talk about the composition. Composition. So the composition biomedical studies have shown a higher concentration of sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. Sodium, chlorine, and magnesium here, yeah, in a high concentration, and a lower level of and a lower level and a very lower level of uh, potassium and calcium. It's a higher level. It's higher and lower level is potassium and calcium and here potassium and calcium and higher level is sodium, chlorine, and magnesium, and lower level of potassium and calcium ion here. uh, and now the secretion of CSF. Secretion of CSF. So secretion of CSF. CSF is secreted from the cerebrospinal secreted by the choroid plexus of lateral third and fourth ventricle. Choroid plexus of lateral third and fourth ventricle. So it's secreted from here. So it's choroid plexus of lateral third and fourth ventricle. Now the characteristics of CSF. Now let's talk about the characteristics of CSF. Now the characteristics of CSF. So characteristic of CSF. So number one, the total volume is 130 to 150 ml. Out of this, 25 ml lies in the ventricle and the rest in the subarachnoid space. So number 1, the total volume is 130 to 150 ml, but out of this only 25 ml is only 25 ml lies in the ventricle. 25 ml lies in the ventricle where it's produced, but and the rest in the subarachnoid space, and the rest 105 to 125 in the it present in the subarachnoid space. Is present in the subarachnoid space. And the daily production limit is, and daily rate of production is 600 to 700 ml daily rate of production. This is now the functions of CSF. Now let's talk about the function of CSF. So number 1, it's act as a hydraulic shock absorber by providing a fluid-filled jacket to the brain and the spinal cord, and it helps in preventing injuries. So number 1, it's act as a shock absorber. Shock absorber. It's act as a shock absorber by providing a fluid filled jacket. It's providing by a fluid filled jacket to the brain and spinal cord, and helps in preventing injuries. So its works first function, that is shock absorber, and the second function is it provides a constant environment to the neurons, as they are highly sensitive and specialized cells. So number 2 function is constant environment to neurons. Provide a constant environment to nucleus. It provides a constant to nucleus, and it's highly sensitive and specialized cells. And function number 3 is it helps in the reduction of weight of brain due to force. It helps the reduction of weight. It helps in the reduction of weight. It helps in reduction of weight of brain due to force. Function number 4 is it conveys the nutritive material to the CNS and helps in the removal of waste reduction. It conveys nutritive material to the CNS. CNS means central nervous system. So it conveys nutritive material to CNS. and helps in removal of waste production. So this was the function number 4. So this was a brief description about the CSF or cerebrospinal fluid. First we have discussed about CSF, then composition, you have its secretion, then characteristics, and at last you have function, discussed about the functions of CSF. So hope you like this video. Please subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel. So bye.